Hey, what's going on YouTube? And I'm just appending this video real quick just to give you a heads up. During the recording of this, I was testing out some new software. It didn't actually work out very well for this particular series, so apologize in advance. And if you're wearing headphones when we do test calls, you might want to turn down the volume because it gets kind of loud through there. So I'll stick with my old software for the future tutorial videos, but just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to this UCCX video on how to create some custom scripts. And in this video we're going to go through, install the UCCX Editor, and then go through and modify some of the scripts and create some custom prompts. Now, just a little housekeeping as well. There have been a number of people that have asked if they could use their phones, like the iPhones, with the Freelab, and yes, it was one of those things where when I got multiple questions on that, it was one of those moments where if I'm like, hey guys, have you seen my glasses anywhere? I've been looking all day for them. I can't find them. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was one of those moments because yes, you can use AnyConnect with Android or iPhone or iPad, and then use Cisco Jabber, and then use the YouTube user A, B, or C, or D login for that. And I went through and I created users or device profiles for all of those. So instead of having to create them, they're already there now. So if we were to log into, and actually I'll use the remote desktop first. Oop. So what's going on with my mouse? Keeps auto scrolling. All right, so let's open remote desktop. And I'm actually going to connect to 1002 because I know UCCX isn't installed on there. And let's open our web browser, go to CUCM Pub. All right. So if we go over to our phones here, you can see all the ones that start with bot. That's for the YouTube user A through D. For Android devices, the tablets for the iPad, and TCT for iPhone. So you should be able to log in and register and make test calls and whatnot natively at this point. So just want to let you know that was there. And again, I'll keep the dial plan update on here. We're going to keep adding more and more as the videos continue. But right now, with the last video on the FXO and PRI, I basically just modified it a little bit. So if you dial 10 digits, it's going to go over the PRI. If you dial 11, it's going to go over the FXO. And then I'm going to be working on some SIP provider ones here shortly, which we can do international, or if you want to create your own for your own country, as long as it sends those digits, you can do that too. So at any rate, let's get into it. So on here, we are going to log into our UCCX console or administrative portal. All right. And if we go over here to Tools and Plugins, here you have the Cisco Unified Contact Center Express Editor. So we'll go ahead and download this. You can see it's 110 meg. And once it's downloaded, we can go ahead and run it. And we'll say yes. All right, so now we got the installer prompt, so we can just, this is the default location. We'll just make note of that. Choose next, next. Let the install begin. And again, if you have a Windows desktop at home, you can install this locally on your own machine as well. The remote desktops are just for convenience, so it's in a centralized location. for those of you that aren't doing your own lab, I should say, specifically for the Freelab users that want to use this environment. Now, I should mention too, so for this example, for creating the own prompts, I'm going to use my old 7921 wireless phone for that, but this is an example where if you wanted to use the Jabber for your mobile device to create your own prompts, that would be an example where that would come in handy. Okay, and it installs and it wants us to restart the system. So I guess we can go ahead and do that. Hit OK. And we're going to get disconnected from our remote desktop session, obviously. So take a sneak peek through the console, see how the boot is doing. Alright, it's almost there. Alright, and it looks like it's ready to go. Now one thing I'll show you real quick just for the people that are using this. I had mentioned it before, I believe. But one of the things I wanted to show you is if you go show more options here and for the local resources. So right now I have it set for play on this computer. Sometimes there's an issue where if you connect and try to launch IP Communicator after it's already been shut down, like this, notice here how it says high definition is either missing or not connected. What you can do is, and it's saying no compatible sound devices, and it's like, oh man, now I can't use the communicator. It's kind of weird, but how you fix it is go back to your remote desktop. First thing you do is change local resources, change this to play on remote computer, and connect like that. Now you can open IP Communicator, and it's going to find the audio device this time. Start up no problem. And then at this point you can disconnect again. I know this is kind of a pain. But then go back and change the local resources back to play on this computer, and then reconnect. And now you can make your calls.
Congratulations, you have just completed a call over the PRI interface.
So just to let you know, and if for those of you using the Freelab, if you run into that issue, that's how you can rectify that. And we'll go ahead and open Jabber as well. And while that opens, we'll go ahead and get back into, well, let's see. We should have, let's go to our File Explorer. And that was under C, Program Files, and this WF-Avid. So here we can take this executable here and say, well, we can pin it to start for one so that it'll always be here, and we can click on it. And we can go ahead and log in here. And for the identification, we'll just log in as the admin. And uccx.freelab.local. And log on. All right, so now we're at our main console interface. And looks like it's downloading some data. But if you've never seen this before, I mean, this is your main editing interface. Down here is where all your variables are going to be. And so you can see you've got, you know, your general, delay, go to, and prompts, for example. And you can also, let's see if I scooch this over a little more, you can see you can do search. So if you want to search for different features, it's kind of handy to have, and reset to clear it out again. But in this case, let's go ahead and on the main script, and actually let me open up, well, I can open up, since I'm on the VPN, I can open up an instance here directly for contact center. And now previously what we had done was under the application, we had created this, or we had used the ICD script for CSQ and set our trigger for 5,000. So if we go back over to our remote desktop, dial 5,000.
Thank you for calling. All of our representatives are assisting other callers at this time. Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line and your call will be handled in the order it was received.
So that's the script that we initially started with. I must have clicked on new script. Yep. But what we'll do is actually hit open, not new. And we can go to scripts. We can use templates or the system default. And let's use the same ICD. Break this down a little bit. So the script that you just heard is this one right here. You can see basically what it does is when the call comes in, it's going to accept or answer the call, then play a prompt. And over here, these are all your attributes. And since it is Java based, you specify your data type, and then anything with that you use parameter is an attribute. That's what's going to show up over here, which are modifiable. So you can set your defaults, and then here, like with the 30 seconds, but then with the parameter, give the option to go ahead and make additional changes. Then you have select resource. So this is basically your first step, and then these are your output branches. So connected is connecting to an agent that's in the queue. Then under queue, you can see we've got a label here called queue loop, which will play a prompt, delay for the variable, the delay while queue variable, which defaults 30 seconds, and then go back and keep looping through. If we go to our selected resource here, you can see we've got our targets, the CSQ, which was the variable that we specified. Connect is, as it says, to connect to the agent. If we were to change this to no, hit apply here, you can say now this is selected. So the agent could be selected, and then maybe at this point we want to, we'll create our prompt. So we could say, instead of just sending it directly to the agent that's logged in, we could have it play another message. So I'm going to say play prompt here. Interruptible, we'll say no. And we're going to say, we'll actually create a new prompt for this here shortly. Input flash, input buffer. This is for if you, for example, if I say, here, if I said like no, for example, on can you barge in, and say no, and you start entering digits, once it gets to a next stage where maybe it's another menu or prompt, there's a possibility whatever digits you entered will be stored in a buffer and then, you know, sent right off the bat. So if you go to a new menu system, maybe you don't want that. So that's what you would use this to flush the input buffer. So if there are any DTMF digits pending, it'll flush those out, and then you have to re-enter once you hear the prompt. And so and then after that, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add another connect. And under the properties, we're going to use the template resource. These are just little annotations, so if you want to specify whatever you want there, you can do that. And thanks to one of the viewers, I added the prompt recorder. So you can see if you dial 9999, you can record your own message. So, for example, let's see, let me make sure I'll do this on speakerphone. It's kind of annoying. So I will dial 9999.
Welcome to the prompt recording application. Please enter your PIN number now.
So you can see the default there is 7878.
To record a prompt, please press 1. To play at the sound of the tone, please record your prompt. When you are finished, please press pound.
Thanks for calling the Freelab. Someone's going to answer your call here shortly, but your call may be monitored or recorded for no quality assurance whatsoever. You're in a sandbox environment. What do you expect? So then, save that.
Press 1 to review your prompt. Press 2 to save. Please enter the 4-digit number for your prompt name.
So this is essentially the file name, so we can just call this 1234.
Your new prompt name is 1234. Press 1 to save your prompt. Your prompt was successfully saved. You may disconnect if finished or continue to...
Alright, so now for that, if we go over to our applications and prompt and go over to the ENUS, here's our 1234.
Thanks for calling the Freelab. Someone's going to answer your call here shortly, but your call may be monitored or recorded for no quality assurance whatsoever. You're in a sandbox environment. What do you expect? So then...
All right, so there's our custom prompt there. And if we go back to our remote desktop, and what we can do here is on our attributes here, we'll create a new, or I said attributes, variables, sorry. We can create a new one, and the type is going to be that data type. So this is a string, and we can call this warning, and we'll make this a parameter. Hit OK, and then if we go back over to the play prompt, properties, the prompt is going to be warning, and apply OK. And then as a quick check, we can do validate. Script succeeded, so we'll say file, save as. And we can save this to the desktop, and we would just call this warning test. And if we go over, I guess I should log in locally here from the remote desktop, I should say. Then we'll go over to our script management, and we will upload a script, choose a file, and see desktop. We got our warning tests, so upload that. Turn to script management. All right, so here we go. Here is our warning test. And then if we want, we can actually create a new application for this. So we'll say next. Call it warning. And here's our warning test script here. Here's our actual, actually, may have missed, let's see, we want, this should actually be a prompt, not a string. Okay. Okay, to the warning. And save this, and we'll just validate again just to make sure. See, invalid prompts. Unsupported encoding option. So we'll just try that, see if, see, validate, okay. So let's re-upload this. Cancel this real quick. Go to our script management, upload scripts, choose a file, warning test, and upload. Hit OK. And it's going to tell us it wants to refresh any of the applications and scripts, and we'll say yes. So if you're doing that in production, probably not a good idea to do it during business hours. All right, so now we'll go back to our applications. Add new. And warning. And this one's going to be our warning. That's more like it. And CSQ is CSQ. And this one we're going to choose our 1, 2, 3, 4 that we created. Enable, add. And the other was 5,000, so we can make this one like 5,100. And use CTI ports, add. All right, so now we'll need to log an agent in. Okay, so now that we're signed in, let's just go here, say debug reactive script, and we're going to choose our warning test. And how long do we want to wait? I mean, I'm going to make the call right now, so 30 seconds should be sufficient. All right, so now I'm going to dial into 5100. Okay, so here's our initial call. Now we'll go ahead and go to the next step to accept it. And then play prompt.
Thank you for calling.
All right, now we are in the loop queue.
All of our representatives are assisting other callers at this time. Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line, and your call will be handled in the order it was received.
Because we are in the not ready state. So let's change this to ready. And then it should play that prompt that we created. So we'll say ready. We'll skip to the next. Now it's going to go back, play the prompt.
Thanks for calling the Freelab. Someone's going to answer your call here shortly, but your call may be monitored or recorded for no quality assurance whatsoever. You're in a sandbox environment. What do you expect? So then...
Alright, so now it's ready for the next step because now the agent's actually connected. So when we get to the next step, the phone should ring. Now we have our call. And we can hang it up. And that should end the script. So that's it for this video, and again, apologize for the technical issues and that half the video, or not half, but just a quarter got cut off at the end when I was going over the time of day stuff. But if you're using the Freelab, feel free to experiment, play around with whatever you want. And I have to get used to making these videos at, well, it's now 5 o'clock in the morning, haven't been to sleep yet. So, and like I said in the beginning, I'll be sure to stick with my old video software for these type of technical tutorials. So thanks for hanging in there and watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.